politics, these guys don't see these things like that.
They don't see. That is the reason why there was an indiscretion on the part of Labaran Maku to make that statement. He felt he had more representation for the people than the national members of the National Assembly, and he had to be called to order. That the National Assembly are direct representatives of the people, whereas you are a third-person representative of the people. You gain your representation of the people through your appointment by the president, and you are there at the behest of the president. Anytime the president is satisfied or dissatisfied with you, he does what he wants to do. He has the power to fire
in other words,
and hire you.
I saying he should have said what he said differently, but it's still a resolution.
I think, yes, it was an indiscretion on his part.
He should have removed mayor and say,
I think you have something about that resolution. That resolution, a resolution must not be thrown under the carpet. It is a resolution of an arm of government. It's just like when a judge expresses an opinion, and you come to say that it is an opinion of the judge. You know, in law, there's something we call obiter dictum. That's what we call the main ratio decidendi. Obiter dictum means when you are giving judgment, after the main judgment, you make some side statements.
Which is not a judgment.
It is not the judgment, but those side statements, you can cite them as precedents.
Can they be part of the judgment?
Yes, in some situations, it reflects the opinion of the judge.
But they are not necessarily the judgment.
When it is not necessarily judgment, but when a lower court judge is asked to look at that obiter dictum, the lower court judge has some form of obligation to look at that obiter dictum and say, yes, my learned senior has made that point, and I am bound to go that direction. So resolutions are they are resolutions, yes, but they are important facts in governance. Anyway, remember that there are some resolutions that are like law, constitutionally speaking, like the state of emergency.
Mr. Ekejin, let's quickly look at another issue between the executive arm and the legislative arm, yes. And that has to do with the budget implementation. You know, we went back and forth with percentage, bringing numbers and figures. Yes. The House says, well, you have done poorly, but the executive arm comes up to say, no, we have done fairly well, yes. And they give different figures from what the House has given. Yes. Did we manage that properly? Because we thought we have people, committees, subcommittees, giving oversight functions, looking at such ministries, departments, agencies, and parastatals. Yes. What kind of information did they bring to the House that was quite different from what the executive arm was actually telling the people?
I think what we gathered from the entire scenario then was that somebody was lying along the line, or somebody was playing politics. Like when they said that 75% of the recurrent expenditure of Nigeria goes into, the 75% of the entire expenditure of Nigeria goes into recurrent expenditure. And somebody comes to tell you that it is not recurrent expenditure per se, but expenditure, some kind of technical language that if you are not well learned in English or economics, you are lost. So what I'm trying to say there is that somebody lied along the line, and even the members of the House of Reps declared and proved it that somebody lied along the line, that the extent of performance of the budget was lower than what the executive had brought out to the fore. But by the time the executive came back, they came with some technical explanations that even justified their own explanations, but also lending credence to the views of the National Assembly, of the House of Reps, that the budget was poorly implemented. I think that the issue that gave rise to that problem was actually the failure of the executive to hand over money to the members of the House of Reps for constituency project, and that goes a whole lot of it goes into jurisprudential questions in terms of whether the legislature should be executing projects or not. But I think it's a discussion for another day. It shows that the legislature wanted some more money, or wanted their money that was allocated to them under the 2012 budget to implement their constituency projects, and some of these monies were not released on time and became a problem. So I think that is where the disagreements arose from, and from there several issues, several claims came up. The House of Reps brought out their figures, and the executive brought out their own figures, and somebody lied along the line, and that lie was justified in terms of technical details.
Can we tie that to summons by the National Assembly? You know, the police pensions come, or yes. Pensioners come, yes. And sometimes some members yes. of some of these agencies, yes. which we can also say yes. now arms of the executive, yes. Yes. They have been summoned, yes. and you don't get to come.
Yes, I am an advocate of imperative summons in terms of that anybody who is summoned by the National Assembly has an obligation, should have an obligation to appear before the National Assembly, including the president. Even though it is not in the Constitution, I am an advocate that it should be made a constitutional provision that anytime the National Assembly summons the president or anybody, any member of the executive or any person whatsoever to appear before it, that person should be under an obligation to appear before the National Assembly because they are the real representatives of the people.
So moving forward, I mean, how would you say that a relationship should improve in 2013?
I think the relationship should improve by the three arms realizing that they are part and parcel of the same team and not expecting that one party is stronger than the other party. Of course, by the nature of our constitution, the executive president of Nigeria is a very powerful president and he can do a lot of things, just like in the parliamentary system where the parliament can do everything except turning a woman into a man or turning a man into a woman. The executive president has power that is close to that presently. But that notwithstanding, I think that there is need for compromise, respect for each arm. When the executive makes an opinion clear, let the National Assembly respect that opinion and dissect it and come up with realizable and reasonable opinions. And when the National Assembly also raises an opinion, the executive has an obligation to also respect those opinions, whether in terms of resolutions or whatever, however you call the language, like Chamberlain would say.